All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to solve a right triangle. So we're going to find all the missing parts. That's what a right triangle is. So if I look at this, it has many missing parts. We're missing angle B, so I'm going to write angle B up here so we can try to figure that out. We're missing side A. Side A is across from angle A. That's how you know it's side A. And we're also missing side C because side C is across from angle C. Now remember, angles add up to be 180 degrees. Sides, A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Okay, that's what we have to know in a right triangle. So I'm going to grab my calculator. If you don't have a calculator, I would grab one. The reason being is work it out in your calculator while I'm working it out, because sometimes your calculator is set in radians and it needs to be set in degrees. So if you're getting different numbers when you punch it in your calculator, it's set in radians. And contact me and I'll tell you how to change it out of that. Okay. So most times calculators are set in degrees unless you have one of these type of calculators. If you have one of these type of calculators, it's probably set in radians, okay? And I'll explain how to work that out if you need help with that. So first thing I'm gonna do is figure out angle B. Angle B is easy. I'm gonna take 180, because 180 degrees, minus 90 minus 72. So 180 minus 90 minus 72, and I got 18 degrees for angle B. So I'm gonna go up here and mark it as 18 degrees, okay? Then, to find a missing side, and I said that's side A and this is side C, to find a missing side, first, mark the angle that you want to use. It's your choice. You get to make that decision. It doesn't matter what angle you choose. So I'm going to mark that angle right there. Okay, I'll mark 72 degrees. Then mark your adjacent, opposite, and hypotenuse sides. So I know this is my adjacent side. I know this is my opposite side. And I know this is my hypotenuse. Okay? Then you want to pick a side to solve for. So I'm going to solve for side A first, because alphabetical order, right? So if I'm looking for my opposite side and I know my adjacent side, which one over here is the formula that I would use? Well, this is talking about opposite and hypotenuse. Adjacent hypotenuse, hey, this one's talking about opposite and adjacent. So I'm now going to use tan. Pick a formula, okay? So I'm going to say tangents of my angle. The angle that I chose was 72, so I can now put a value in there. Opposite side is A, adjacent side is 7. Now, if my letter is on the bottom, to solve for A, I would multiply both sides by 7, but I'm going to figure out the tangent of 72 first. So punch that in your calculator and make sure you're getting 3.0777. I'm rounding that last number. It's a 6, but it rounds up. Okay? And then to solve for A, you'd multiply both sides by 7. So I would do that number times 7, and I end up with 21.5. And usually you round your, that's 12.5 for some reason, 21.5. Usually you round your answers to the first decimal place when you're doing this. So the side A is 21.5. Okay, now, could you use Pythagorean theorem to find side C? Yeah, you could, but you're taking an estimate and you're using an estimate to solve for another estimate. And sometimes when you do that, you get way off what you actually want to find. So I'm going to actually use true numbers. So I'm going to do the same thing. Okay, I'm going to pick an angle. So I'm picking 72 again. You can pick the same angle every single time if you wanted to. All right. I still know my adjacent side is 7. However, now I'm looking for my hypotenuse, which is side C. So if I have adjacent and I'm looking for hypotenuse, adjacent hypotenuse now is cosine. So I would say cosine of 72 is equal to the adjacent side, which is 7, over the hypotenuse, which is C. Now, if the letter is ever on the bottom, notice how the number was on the bottom, so we multiply both sides by 7. If the letter is ever on the bottom, you can just switch these two. Okay? So now in your calculator, you're going to do 7 divided by the cosine of 72. And you can punch that on your calculator at once. And I got my value C to be 22.7. Again, I'm rounding, okay? So I got this value right here to be 22.7. All right, now, will Pythagorean theorem work to check your answer? Yeah, it will get you close. If you did A squared plus B squared equals C squared, so 21.5 squared plus 7 squared equals 22.7 squared, you might not get the exact answer, but you're going to get pretty stinking close. Close enough that you're going to know if you got it right or not. Another thing that you can do, this kind of trick, is the smallest side should be across from the smallest angle. The next smallest side should be across from the next smallest, so 72 was across from 21.5, and then 90 was across from 22.7. That's another way to check yourself. I'll have Zoom meetings, and I'll have questions if you want to ask any questions on Schoology. Just let me know.